Welcome to the William Attar Thursday Night Lights, live on My TV Buffalo, presented by Stellar Roofing.
Coming to you live from the iconic All-High Stadium in Buffalo, New York. It's another edition of the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And we have a big one on hand for the regular season finale. The South Park Sparks on their senior night welcome in the Lewiston-Porter Lancers here in Week 8 action. And hi, everyone. Welcome inside our broadcast booth along with the coach, Scott Pilkey. I am Joe Kraus. We'll hear from Tyler Millen in just a little bit. But, Scott, we are in the final week of the regular season. Both teams excited to get on the field for this one before we get into the postseason.
Well, you could really see it and hear it in the voices of the coaches, and the warm-up was really high energy between both teams. We're going to have a good one here tonight.
And let's take a look at our players to watch, starting with the Lewiston-Porter quarterback, the senior Cole Walton, who threw for over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns for the Lancers, coming in with just one win on the season. Today, he's going to look to have a big-time matchup against the South Park player coming into this one. It is Joe Sacco, who has done a little bit of everything for South Park, including on the defensive side of the ball, a team-high 4 sacks in this one for head coach Tim Delaney, wearing number 52 tonight here at home. Okay, Scott, let's take a look now at our keys to the game, brought to you by Stellar Roofing, the best at what we do.
Well, while they have a great quarterback, Lewiston has to establish the run and be effective in their tackling. South Park has to start fast and contain Walton and score points, because they've only had 12 touchdowns up to this point in the season.
And so when we come back, a big-time matchup in downtown Buffalo, South Park and Lewiston, coming up next here on Thursday Night Lights. And we are back here at All-High Stadium, moments away from the start of the contest. So take a look at our head coaches, starting with the Lewiston Lancers, Derek Tracy, in his 4th season. Tracy, a former star quarterback for the Lancers in the early 2000s, now at the helm here in year 4, 1-6 coming into tonight's contest. And on the flip side, for South Park in his 18th season, it is Tim Delaney, 109 total wins. He recorded win number 100 last season against Iroquois. 1998 graduate, was part of the South Park team that won the Harvard Cup in 1996. The last of 4 under Tim's great mentor, Jerry Opstein. Delaney, since taking over 3 Section 6 titles and the 2015 Class A state championship, was the first time a Buffalo school won a section and state title back in 2015. As here's their opening kick, the Sparks receive first, going down the far sideline. This is Kamar Williams, still on his feet past midfield and brought down at the Lewiston-Porter 44-yard line. A great return from the senior, Scott, and that's where South Park is going to start.
Well, this is what Tim was talking about. You have to start out fast, and that kind of a return sets their offense up for early success.
And let's take a look. Joe Sacco, we mentioned in our open, he is doing a little bit of everything. This time he is in the quarterback spot, just 8 attempts on the season at quarterback. A low snap, and Sacco able to quickly recover the football before Lucas Romer gets the touch for Lewiston-Porter. Sacco, a little bit of everything, and he's getting some looks here now at QB.
Well, his last name is Sacco, but I don't think anybody's going to be saccoing this kid. This kid, I mean, that little fumble right there, it's nervous. First play of the game. Let's see what he's got planned forward.
Here's a handoff to Xavier Gonzalez, and he is taken down hard. There's a flag on the field. Looked like the Lewiston-Porter defender was able to give Gonzalez a good 3-4 yard loss. Let's see what the official call is. Xavier Gonzalez listed at 4'9", 125 pounds for the Sparks.
On the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, results in a first down.
Well, that's a mighty young man, but boy, the gentleman that picked him up and threw him down, they're going to give him excessive call every single time they do something like that.
So with the penalty, it'll be first down for South Park at the Lewiston-Porter 32-yard line. First down was brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Well, Tim was talking about, that they're trying to get their offense going. But aside from Sacco, who is their only senior on the offensive line and now interchanging with quarterback, you're going to see some holes every now and then with some young offensive linemen on the South Park side.
Direct snap to Sean Robinson. He goes towards his right and knocked out of bounds by Brady Reed of Lewiston-Porter. Sean Robinson, he has been the majority since the midweek point of the season, taking over at quarterback. 4 touchdown passes to his name. And Robinson just trying to keep this offense going. 2 touchdown passes in week 3 against Williamsville South. He gets a good gain. Going to be second, and we'll call it 7 at the 28. As Robinson in the shotgun. Pitch to the left to Gonzalez. Gonzalez finds the space, gets to the 20, still on his feet at the 15, and brought down from behind close to the 10-yard line. Xavier Gonzalez, the senior, with the big-time run.
Well, you can see that the toss pitch to the outside, that gets outside the D-ends. It had good reach on the outside, good containment, and that's what gave him the positive yardage.
Gonzalez had a rushing score in Week 6 against West Seneca East. As we take a look at the South Park offense, brought to you by the law office of William Matar. You can see Joe Sacco, Paul Hurst, Xavier Gonzalez, a couple touches, 3 receivers that have done all very well for head coach Tim Delaney up to this point.
Gavin Costello, who's number 65, is 6'5", 275. He's a senior on the O-line right now with Sacco. So you can see that he was a big part of getting to the outside in that last play.
2nd and 12, Robinson in the shotgun. He rolls to his right, feels the pressure, and it is incomplete. Great pressure from Corey Timke, the senior linebacker of Lewiston-Porter, now setting up 3rd and long for South Park.
Well, that's the second time you've seen the pressure come from the left side, and they're trying to roll to the outside of it. You can see Tim's trying to get his speed on the edge.
And here's a look at the Lewiston-Porter defense tonight. Timke, Romer, Reed, and Henson looking to apply some pressure up front. Cole Walton in the linebacker spot. Brandon Tamel in the secondary. A key player for Lewiston-Porter. Looking to get a stop on 3rd and long. The pass goes to the near side, caught by Julius Jackson. He is brought down just shy of the 30, and 4th down coming up.
Well, Julius is one of those rare body types that you see on the field. He's got to be every bit of 6'3", 6'4", and Coach said that he's got a lot of upside going, forward into the college levels. But he's just without the quarterback that they've had in the past, like Noah Willoughby, who we currently have at SUNY Erie football. That's a guy like him needs to be utilized more often today if they're going to score early and often.
It is 4th and 6 for South Park. Robinson again in the shotgun. Robinson looks to his right, takes a couple steps, gets to the outside. He is still on his feet. He gets out of bounds after a huge run past the 20. And Rashawn Robinson through the traffic gets a big play here for South Park.
Now, up until today, he's had 65 runs at 265 yards. You can see what he does with his legs here, and he's got great speed. And like any well-trained running back, he starts getting vertical, bounces to the hash to get to the sideline. Nice job by that young man.
Gain of over 15 yards. 1st and 10 to the 16. It's a handoff, and the Sparks get a couple more yards. This time look like Paul Hurst on the carry, as South Park is in the red zone for the first time tonight. Brought to you by Inside the Willoughby Insurance Red Zone. Willoughby will when nobody will. Rashawn Robinson, Scott, as we take a look at the stats, doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, 4.1 average per carry, and he's been well over that tonight so far.
2nd and 6 at the 12. It's a handoff to Hurst. Hurst goes to his left, still on his feet, and gets his way forward past the 10-yard line. A good run coming from the senior, Paul Hurst.
Well, Coach Delaney has a really great job of spreading the ball around. You've seen him get it out to a big wide receiver. Quarterback's running the ball well, and Hurst kept his legs going there to get a critical gain.
Mason Bonino almost had him in the backfield for Lewiston-Porter. But instead, this will be 3rd and 2 at the Lancers' 8-yard line. Paul Hurst taking a breather on the sidelines. Sacco in at quarterback. It's a direct snap. Sacco going behind the right side of his offensive line. He is just short. Joe Sacco with a huge run, but enough for another first down.
Well, he ran behind a sophomore, Jacob Ferdinand, and you can see the push here. This is a great push up front. You see the center moving out, the big number 70 for Lewiston, and he's almost in. They said the guy can do a little bit of everything.
This time up the middle. South Park able to punch in for our first touchdown tonight. Brought to you by ECMC. Go where the Bills go.
Everything that Tim Delaney wanted to do on an opening drive just happened there. If he can keep this up tonight, it's going to be South Park's evening.
So South Park able to record the first points of the evening. It is also senior night for the Sparks here at All High Stadium. And Sacco is now looking to attempt the extra point. Kick is halted by a whistle.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay the try.
So we'll have a second attempt at this extra point after the penalty from South Park.
You look at Joe up close, and he is a 6'2", 325-pound young man. I mean, he's got a noggin on him that, you don't see. He is a big dude all around, canned hams in the hands, and he can pretty much try to do everything out here. He's the best athlete.
Lewiston was able to block the extra point, but South Park strikes first. They have a 6-0 lead as the big man on campus, Joe Sacco, goes up the middle for the 6 points. We'll be right back after this short break on Thursday Night Lights. A 3-minute, 42-second drive capped off by Joe Sacco, the 1-yard score. Head coach Tim Delaney told us he would see some time at quarterback. The senior gets the nod on the opening drive. 6-0 our score with 8:18 left to go in the first quarter.
Well, Tim said even in light of a loss last week, you'd expect sometimes the kids will come over, be a little emotional. But he took it, and he takes that type of stuff in stride with such a young team. He's more than just a good player for them. He's a good role model for them as well.
South Park coming into tonight with a 3-4 record, 3-3 in Class B1 as Lewiston-Porter gets out into its own 35-yard line. And this is where Cole Walton and the offense will take over. Nearly 1,200 passing yards on the season in his senior campaign. As you take a look at the stats, 8 touchdown passes as well. He threw 2 against Cheektowaga. Last week, 2 against Williamsville South in week 4 as well. Walton continuing to be a key piece, Scott, for the Lewiston-Porter offense.
Yeah, and he's no joke. I mean, he's 225 pounds himself. He's run the ball 36 times for 125 yards this season. So you might have to see him use his feet as well as his arm.
Walton is in the shotgun. 1 man in the backfield. 3 receivers to his right. Walton takes the snap, rolls to his right. He makes the pass, but the ball just comes out. It is ruled incomplete as Xavier Gonzalez was off to the races. The ball just came out of the receiver's hand.
Good call by the official there. Had he caught it and made that athletic move moving forward, that would have been a great pickup and score for South Park.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Lewiston-Porter offense tonight, brought to you by the law office of William Mattar. Cole Bolton at quarterback. Jackson Courts still looking for his first rushing score of the season. Mason Benito, he was Lewiston-Porter's quarterback a couple of years ago, transitioned to a wideout and a veteran offensive line as well to protect Cole Walton this season. 2nd and 10 at the Lancers 35. Well, motion man, then Walton keeps it himself on the QB keeper, spins against one defender, keeps the legs moving past the 40-yard line. A good run for the quarterback, Cole Walton, who not only has the 8 passing touchdowns, but has scored 3 times on the ground as well.
Well, you're going to see the over-penetration. Great read by the quarterback. It was supposed to be a quick pitch-out option style, but he decided to pull it down and got his 7 yards doing so.
This will set up a manageable 3rd and 3 for Lewiston-Porter. Walton in the shotgun, empty backfield. Here's the snap. He looks towards the outside. It's deflected and almost intercepted by South Park. The Sparks got a tip drill on that one, and now 4th down coming up.
Yeah, nice job by the Sparks defense there. They broke down. Great job.
And here is the defense. We have mentioned about Joe Sacco, Paul Hurst in at linebacker, and the secondary doing a pretty strong job here. Both the corners and the safeties all season. That's been a strength for Coach Delaney.
Well, it looks like both defensive coordinators, both coaches, are looking to blitz a lot, put as much pressure as they can on both quarterbacks.
4th and 3. Lewiston-Porter with the QB keeper going past midfield all the way, still on his feet, and a huge run all the way to the South Park 35-yard line. There's the quarterback once again, Cole Walton.
Yeah, you see a lot of guys around him, but they had 5 or 10 around him, but they still couldn't bring him down. We were talking about the battle of the big guys here running the football, and so far he's doing more with his legs than he is his arm. See, this is a planned quarterback draw. Really nice job by the guys up front, and I did not see anybody put their head down to take that quarterback on, and I wouldn't have done it either. So he's a pretty big fella. Runs the ball really well.
Gain of 24. It's another Interstate Batteries first down. The Lewiston-Porter Lancers wearing their road white uniforms with the green colors up to the South Park 34. Walton rolls out, he throws, it's deflected, it's somehow caught by a Lew-Port Lancer. Off of the tip, it is brought down by Jackson Courts, and the Lancers keep this moving.
Well, really nice job. They line up in quads, 4 wide receivers to the right side in a diamond package, and this really kind of put everybody on their heels. And tremendous job, just the ball awareness going up like that, and the South Park didn't come down for it. Right now, you see it. They're doing a good job. They're staying concentrated. Quarterback puts the ball up, and nobody stops after the football. Great concentration. First down.
Jackson Courts making the catch after it went off the hands of Mason Bonito. It's a first down brought to you by Interstate Batteries. A pitch to the outside, and the Lancers able to get maybe a yard on the carry. The pitch going out there to the veteran running back here, Jackson Courts, on the touch. But South Park pretty strong in the run game, and they get the Lancers there.
Well, but you already get the feeling, though, that if Lew-Port sticks with the run game, running the quarterback, even there, you see South Park come around, it's taken more than 1 or 2 guys to bring the one guy down for Lew-Port.
2-yard loss. Lancers getting close to the red zone. Walton in the shotgun. 4 receivers on Walton's left. He takes that look, then finds the open space on the right, that throws up a deep one, but it's intercepted by the South Park defense. The Sparks with Paul Hurst on the interception. He is knocked out of bounds. Beg your pardon, Julius Jackson on the pick. Regardless, South Park forces a turnover.
That's what we're talking about. The senior wide receiver DB, 6'3", 170 pounds. He's been a good weapon this year, but he came in just when they needed him. Stepped in front of that ill-fated pass and brought them back out of their own red zone. Nice job.
Julius Jackson, as you see the pressure, recording his 2nd interception of the year. The Sparks with only 3 in that department. Most of the success on the defensive line, 16.5 sacks tonight. But Jackson now lines up to the outside with under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Robinson takes the snap. He makes the throw. It is incomplete, looking for Jamarian Hemphill on the play.
Well, you really see the emphasis of Tim Delaney's offense is always about spreading the ball out and getting it out to your talent. But again, the quarterback runs have been successful, and toss pitches. Like we talked about, the biggest question in Tim's offense has been the pass game all season long.
South Park going back to the line of scrimmage. Robinson the snap, looks to the near side. It is caught by Jackson. Makes his way past the 25, still on his feet, goes past the 30, and then finally knocked out of bounds by the Lew-Port defense. Brandon Tamel on the stop. Jackson with a big catch here.
You know, he's had 26 catches up to the beginning of this game for 276 yards. They're starting to utilize him. They're taking what the Lancer defense is giving him, and so far he's had, 3 grabs or 2? Or 2 on the offense and 1 on the defense. So he's probably, he's been a big influence, obviously, so far.
Fresh set of downs for South Park up to the 32. Robinson the snap. It's a handoff to the outside and going right down the sideline. A little shoulder shove as well. Paul Hurst with another big run here for South Park.
Now this is when you look at Sacco and what he does well. You see him pull from the backside. This is a counter tray. He comes, gets the outside, hits 3 people on the way, and his running back follows him perfectly. Little mug there at the end. That was a great run. Let him get it. Let him get it on Thursday night lights, right?
4:37 to go. Robinson in the shotgun. It's a pitch to Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to get to the end around, spins past one defender, keeps the chains moving, gets some help on the outside from his lineman. A good run for Gonzalez, turning nothing into something.
Who has used smaller scat backs better You have Nunez last year. That was one of the top players in Western New York. He's getting the football as a college freshman right now. But look what Tim does. Tim may have some younger, smaller guys, but look, the kid's quick. He reads the field. Last time he got touched by that guy, the guy threw him to the ground. Not this time. Nice job by that young man.
Yeah, a good block from a number 78, James Schuster, the sophomore right tackle. The big run from Gonzalez, now 2nd and 5, near midfield. The Sparks go back to the ground game. One big hit, then a little bit more movement from the Sparks before Mason Bonito ends the play.
I think the way that Tim is changing up the field, everything is a misdirection. It's getting to the outside. And what I think the Lancers have is more of a bruising style on offense. Right now, Tim's utilizing his speed and his athleticism and taking what the defense gives you. Really nice job by Tim Delaney and his offense.
South Park past midfield. This is the second drive of the night for the Sparks. It's a handoff to Hurst. Once again, finds the open green, gets to the outside, still on his feet, past the 30, and then finally knocked out of bounds, this time by Jackson Courts. It's another Interstate Batteries first down for South Park in this first quarter.
Well, you can see what's happening to the linebackers here. Everybody's just kind of standing and watching, but to the credit of the offensive line, they're getting up, they're getting that first push, getting up to the second level, and that's allowing the changeability in the footwork of their running backs, and they're making great gains in these first two series.
1st and 10 for South Park at the Lewiston-Porter 28-yard line. Robinson on the QB keeper. Finds his way up for a few yards, but we do have a flag on the field.
Illegal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So the penalty goes against South Park.
But so far, you haven't seen those killer penalties that we sometimes see earlier in the season. Little hitches that might take 5 yards away from you. But the best part, what Tim's doing right now, is Coach Delaney is not only running the football well, but he's also controlling the clock.
So this will set up 1st and 14 as the Sparks take the snap. Robinson makes the catch on the outside and making his way to the 20, still going, and then finally brought down. That's a big-time play from Nasir Spearson, getting his first look tonight here on Thursday Night Lights. Another Interstate Batteries first down.
Now just imagine if Coach Delaney had that standard quarterback that he always has. Right now, you're seeing these guys taking what they give them, getting the ball out to their athletes in space, and the athletes are making it happen. Right now, you've got Nazir and Julius. These guys are a great 1-2 punch, along with the Q run game.
South Park at the Lewiston-Porter 13. It's a handoff to Hurst. He tries to get to the outside, gets out of bounds, but we have a flag on the field.
There's a flag on the field.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
I believe that was on the right tackle, and it was actually pretty good. Hands on the outside. Yeah, you just cannot. Yeah, all right. Well, actually, it was a wide receiver that just Nasir Spearson that caught that great pass a couple minutes ago.
South Park still inside the red zone. The ball spotted at the Lewiston-Porter 19-yard line. As once again going to the ground on first down. The Sparks able to get a good chunk back here. Another strong running play, looks like, by Hurst as we get to second down.
Well, they're giving a little bit of outside, a little bit of inside, and this is what's confusing the Lancer defense because they're getting caught flat-footed, looking into the backfield, wondering where the ball's going to go next, rather than just playing gap and pursuing like they did in the very first series.
Under 90 seconds left in the first quarter. 2nd and 3 from the 6. going into the end zone, lowering the shoulder, and in it is Paul Hurst, who is having himself a dance party in the end zone. The touchdown brought to you by ECMC. Go where the Bills go.
They've got a lot of speed here, and you can just tell if they had somebody that they, were able to get as, like they've had in the past with their quarterbacks. They've got enough talent with a quarterback and a steady running back. This team could easily be an undefeated football team in their division.
Paul Hurst recording his third rushing score of the season. Scored last week in a tough loss to Pioneer, and he helped South Park expand the lead. Joe Sacco getting ready for the extra point attempt. Two-point pass play to the outside, broken up nicely by Lewiston-Porter's Julian Genoshek, and that will take us to another timeout. South Park with a big 12-0 start over Lewiston-Porter. You're watching Thursday Night Lights, presented by the law office of William Mattar on MyTV Buffalo. And welcome back to All High Stadium. Let's send it downstairs to the third member of our team, Tyler Millen. Tyler?
The sectional tournament looms large next week, and the South Park team has already locked up the fourth and final spot out of B1. They'll be the 7th or 8th seed for the opening round of the Class B sectional tournament, but they're going to want to continue that offensive consistency on the ground as we've seen so far tonight. Headlined by their leading rusher, Rashawn Robinson, as we've seen Julius Jackson entering tonight the 17th most receiving yards of anyone in Section 6 this year. The South Park defense, they've allowed 12 or fewer points in each of their 3 wins this year, and they have 10 defensive players with 30 or more tackles along that defensive line and across that defense this season. The Lancers, they're playing for pride tonight. A lot of these seniors will take off the pads for the final time in their high school careers, including their quarterback, Cole Walton, who enters tonight with the 9th most passing yards of anyone in Section 6. This is a very entertaining regular season finale from All High Stadium. We'll send it back up to you in the booth.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Joe Krause, Scott Pilkey with you from the iconic All High Stadium in Buffalo, New York, as Lewiston on the return. Trying to make a move is Hunter Harden, and he is brought down just shy of the 25-yard line. All High Stadium first opened here in Buffalo back on May 29th, 1929. The stadium was modeled after classic European soccer stadiums at the time. There have been so many big names that have played here over the years, including former Baltimore Colt Joe Ehrman. And this stadium, Scott, was used in the filming of a key scene back in 1984 for a movie called The Natural, starring the late Robert Redford. It was a huge movie back in the 1980s for Buffalo and Western New York. Parkside Candies was another location as well. And here we are in 2025, South Park and Lewiston tonight from All High Stadium. Cole Walton takes the snap, rolls through the pressure, a low pass, incomplete.
We talked about at the beginning of the game what the goals were. Eliminate the QB scramble. And I think what Lewiston has to get back to is the direct snap to their quarterback. They've had, 2 major games with him pulling the ball in and taking it down, 124-yard rush earlier. Right now, I just think he's been rolling out a little bit too much. They got to get the first down here and start moving the ball downfield like South Park has been in the first quarter.
Cole Walton in the shotgun. The Lancers looking for their first win since the season opener against Albion, 33-14 back in week 1, as Walton makes a short pass to the outside. It is complete by Jackson Courts. He is quickly brought down by Paul Hurst. About a 2, maybe 3-yard gain.
Yeah, you're starting to see the speed of South Park be the big difference maker on both sides of the ball. The pressure is getting to the QB, and what you're seeing Cole Walton doing here is he's waiting too long to get rid of the ball. They tried a screenplay there, but again, it didn't fool anybody. The speed came up, covered, and kept it for a minimal gain.
The last 30 seconds of quarter number 1. Walton in the shotgun. Gabe Casale is Lewiston-Porter center tonight. Part of that senior campaign, one of the many 3-year players for head coach Derek Tracy. As Walton looks downfield, makes a throw. It is on the sideline waiting for the official call. Julius Jackson is indicating that he has it, but they're saying incomplete.
Well, the great thing is the consistency of the play of South Park on both sides of the ball. You're seeing the same athlete make the same play. Yeah, he obviously didn't have it going out of bounds, but again, the awareness, the stepping up, they're doing a really good job in their secondary. And we saw Sacco line up at nose guard, and he actually dropped back into coverage the last down. That guy can do it all.
It is 4th and 12. Lewiston-Porter currently in punt formation. Here is a line drive punt. It is returned by the Sparks, who quickly get past midfield with Spearson. He gets to the outside, takes one man down, still on his feet, gets to the 45, to the 40, has the open space down the far sideline, and then dragged out of bounds by Cole Walton to end the first quarter of play. A big special teams play from South Park as we move to quarter number 2. South Park with a 2-score lead. We'll be right back. You are watching the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And welcome back. Start of the second quarter. Coming up later, stay tuned for the UB Bulls halftime show. UB Bulls football, family affordable fun. We'll be talking about the Athletic Associates Center Scholar Athletes presented by Dr. Todd Shakin. We have highlights from around the country as well. A lot coming up from the UB Bulls halftime show. Start of the second quarter. South Park on the move after the big return on the punt from Nasir Spearson. Sparks go to the ground game on first down, a short gain for Gonzalez.
Well, Gonzalez wearing that number 13, and any kind of a gain is going to be a short game at 4'9". But what you really got to love about this kid is that his changeability, like I've said it already, his change of direction and his quickness and his compact form is something that Tim always looks for. We talked about Nunez from last year, was one of the leading, I think, of all time leading rushers or yard gainers of all time in Western New York. And he's got some guys that are pretty comparable here right now.
Ooh, pass to the outside is incomplete. Hemphill, the intended receiver. And Tim Delaney talked about that just every season. No matter who is on his roster, he's able to make the most with these guys and build them up from week one to now. And is that fair to say, Sky, as a coach, that that's a good trait as a coach to build your guys from the start to the end?
Well, what you see is Tim has had great systems. He really is a student of the spread, misdirection, and has always had, quarterbacks that get the ball out, take what the defense gives them. But you can see Tim's doing here what he needs to. A lot of misdirection, a lot of direct runs, and getting the ball out to his people.
Reverse handoff to Hurst. He finds the open space past the Lewistown 40, brought down by Tamil from behind. Another strong run for Paul Hurst, who had a 6-yard score back in the first quarter. It's enough for an Express Windows first down.
And just a great little turnout, little under handoff there. This is what we're talking about, the misdirection. It's the little wrinkles in his offense that are keeping the Lancers flat-footed and trying to figure out where the ball is going next. You've seen the aggression that they had in the very first series where they were blitzing and bringing a lot of people. They're not doing that anymore. They're sitting back trying to figure out what's going to come next from South Park.
Robinson through the pressure, and he has brought down a good stop from the Lewistown defense. That was River Henson, number 50, on the defensive line, able to record that sack and a big one here. South Park still at the 36.
Yeah, and you can tell the tale of the two defenses. Tim has 16.5 sacks on the other side of the ball. Lancers have only had 3.5 sacks and 1 interception all season. So I think this defense that Tim is playing against tonight is tailor-made for his level of athlete.
2nd and 10 after the sack from the senior River Henson. 2 minutes gone by in quarter number 2. Robinson in the shotgun. Hemphill the motion man. He gets the call. The ball is loose briefly, but South Park able to recover. Heads up play by the lineman Malik Felder covering that loose football. 3rd down coming up.
That's one of those young guys that Tim was talking about. 5'9", 205-pound pure freshman playing for him. And that was a heads up little play by that young man.
Sparks were able to get a 1-yard gain to make this 3rd and 9. Hemphill back in the slot here for South Park. Rashawn Robinson in the shotgun. Robinson takes a snap, looks for the deep ball on the outside. It is incomplete. Looking for Gonzalez, and now 4th down comes up.
I think you could go for it here. Obviously, they're going to bring out the punt team, bury him, but I don't think there's any place that, at least what I'm seeing tonight, that Tim in this offense can't strike from. But they're going to bury him and put their hands back in the defense, which I think is a really good call here.
South Park in punt formation. 2 men back. It's a high snap. Sparks able to recover. Trying to make his way upfield is Chris Schuster. Schuster is tripped up big. Another heads-up play by the Lewistown defense. Corey Timke, Lucas Romer in on the stop. We'll take another short break. More from All High Stadium after this on My TV Buffalo. And coming up during the fourth quarter of tonight's game, we'll be highlighting the NHTSA school bus stop of the game. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Again, stay tuned for the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. Scott, you just mentioned in our break about the interception at the 1 yard line. Really could be part of how we got to this point.
Well, it was a momentum changer because in that first drive, you haven't seen it since from Lew-Port. They were able to pound the ball down and really take it down inside the red zone, and then it just flipped the switch, and this game has been the spark since then.
Cole Walton in the shotgun. He takes it himself, makes his way, still on his feet, fighting his way to the 30. He is brought down by a pair of South Park defenders, Darian Lidge, Nasir Spearson, Jay-Sean Jones also in on the stop, as we have an injured player on the field for South Park with 8:32 left in the second.
Now, the play was supposed to go to the right. He's got some, for a big guy, he's got some good agility, and he is a absolute son of a gun to bring down. That's what they got to do more of, is just get those hard 5 or 6 yards. And there's not too many guys on the field that are as big as the Lew-Port quarterback at 225 pounds. He's a very physical guy. Cole, you can tell, even though he is a large dude, he can throw the ball a bit, he can run the ball a bit. Really good quality athlete for Lew-Port.
Injury timeout on the field, and we would like to let you know that tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. The injured player is from South Park. He is able to get some assistance. That is Paul Hurst. Gets some assistance from the trainer and now is walking up. Gives a big thumbs up to the crowd here tonight at All High.
He's not a kid that they want to lose. He's been a pretty decent force on both sides of the ball. But good to see him getting up and walking off under his own power.
It was with that run from Cole Walton, setting up a second and manageable, 2nd and 1. Two men in the backfield. It is Bonito, the motion man. The handoff goes to Courts. He finds his way past the 25. Good run for Jackson Courts. We mentioned that he is still looking for his first rushing touchdown this season. He had 3 last year, as his last run gives us another Express Windows first down. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks.
The Lancers have had their best success when they're running right into the blitz. Right there you had a Mike blitz in the A-gap, and they ran right at it. And basically what you're going to see is South Park's going to bring great pressure, but they're also going to over-pursue at times, giving the quick hitters the best chance of getting those plus 5 yards that we're seeing here so far. Nice job by the D-line that time, breaking down, holding their gap, good stepping up. Nobody over-penetrated that time. Nice adjustment by South Park.
Great play from Chris Schuster, one of the key players, part of that senior campaign, senior line for head coach Tim Delaney. Schuster with 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 5th on the team in tackles with 43 coming into tonight. Able to bottle up Courts there. 2nd and 10 at the South Park 24-yard line. Under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Lew-Port getting close to the red zone once again. Empty backfield. Walton gets the snap, but we have whistles on the field.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
That's what I'm talking about when you see the blitz and the energy that South Park brings to the pressure. Sometimes they walk up, they're a little bit too eager, and that's all that happened there. But it extends the drive for Lew-Port.
Lancers now on the Sparks 19-yard line. Once again, an empty backfield. Walton looks over the middle. It is caught by the Lewiston-Porter Lancers through 3 defenders, able to make the grab as Jackson Courts to keep this drive going.
Well, like Tim Delaney's been doing, getting the ball around and having his top players, this is what they're doing with Courts. He gets out, he's wide open over the middle. Nice catch, takes the big hit, and is a bear to bring down.
That's enough for a 9-yard gain, and Lewiston-Porter now has first and goal at the South Park 10. Lewiston-Porter back in the Willoughby Insurance red zone. Willoughby will when nobody will. First and goal. Walton rolls to his left, now puts up the throw. It is caught on the near side by Courts, and it is enough for a Lewiston-Porter touchdown. The Lancers are on the board at 10-yard score. Walton to Courts, brought to you by Kaleida Health, the official health care provider of the Buffalo Bills.
Really nice job. It took them a quarter and a half to make some adjustments, but now they're starting to settle in. Good, quick hit and run game, and taken almost the same playbook as Tim Delaney was using. Little short 5-6 yard routes underneath the coverage and taking what they give you.
5:36 left in the second quarter. Owen Fleischl onto kick for the Lancers. He was previously a soccer player at Lewiston-Porter, as this attempt is no good. This is Owen's first year kicking on the football side for head coach Derek Tracy. His squad is on the board for the first time tonight. A 10-yard pass play, Walton to Courts. South Park now leads 12-6. We're back with more from Buffalo after this short break. And welcome back to All High Stadium. South Park leads Lewiston-Porter 12-6. Cole Walton connecting with Jackson Courts, the two teaming up for the second time this season. Walton with his 9th touchdown pass. Deficit cut in half, and here is South Park on the return. Getting to the outside is Julius Jackson. It's a good block going down the sideline. Paul Hurst able to move past Jackson, and another big-time play. Paul Hurst, who was banged up a moment ago, Scott, now back in action, and another huge special teams play from the Sparks.
Yeah, you're seeing the big play is what South Park had to have today. You know, Coach was talking about limiting the quarterback scramble earlier, move the ball and score early. They've done that. Now they have to consistently modify, because Lewiston-Porter is doing a really nice job right now on both sides of the ball in this last first half of the second quarter.
Hurst sets up South Park at the Lewiston-Porter 25-yard line. Here is the snap to Robinson, and he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Mason Bonito. Taking another look, Scott, at the last touchdown play. Cole Walton finding his man Jackson Courts.
Looks like it crossed the plane. You know, just a really great physical effort to get that touchdown, that highly needed score.
So Lewiston-Porter able to get the touchdown. 2nd and 12 for South Park at the Lancers 27. Robinson looks to the outside. It is complete to the senior Jackson. Tries to move past 2 defenders, and then he's finally brought down. We do have a flag on the field.
Holding on the offense. The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
What you're seeing is happening now is that you're seeing the safeties and the guys playing down in the box. They're coming up strong on the edge. A play-action pass here or a screen might be something that you'll see Tim Delaney dial up. But they're trying to play good gap, sound defense. And I think what's happening is you're starting to see the athletes getting the ball behind the line of scrimmage rather than the 5 to 6 to 7 yards down. They're doing a little bit too much moving rather than getting vertical and getting as many yards as they can.
3rd and long. Robinson to the outside. It is caught. What a catch for Julius Jackson. Crosses the pylon for the touchdown from 35 yards out. The Sparks through the air this time. And it's a touchdown from Kalida Health, the official health care provider of the Buffalo Bills.
And that's a sign of a really good coach. Exactly what I was just talking about. Everybody's coming up to stop the run. What does Tim do? Tim goes over top of everybody, takes it to his longest guy, and that guy makes a great catch and scores a great touchdown.
Julius Jackson listed at 6'3", 170 pounds, his team-leading 4th touchdown catch of the season a moment ago. Strong numbers before that play, and now he is going to hold the extra point for Joe Sacco. South Park getting the attempt from Sacco. It is off of the post and no good. 3:47 left to go in this second quarter. And South Park early on, continuing to build the lead. As we take a look again, Robinson one-on-one, a jump ball to Jackson on the outside.
Actually, it was one of those great throws, almost indefensible, in between, perfectly thrown, and goes up for it at its highest point, comes down with it, splits the defenders, and takes it into the end zone.
So South Park leads Lewiston-Porter 18-6 now after the big play. And a reminder coming up once again at halftime, our UB Bulls halftime show. UB Bulls football, family, affordable, fun. A lot to come in the halftime. We'll have some first half highlights, some highlights around the country. Our Athletic Associates Center Scholar athletes as well. A lot of great elements to come here at halftime as the Lancers trying to get out of the break, trying to get one more score. They recover the return. The Lancers now trailing by 12. And getting a chance to talk with Derek Tracy earlier this week, Scott. Lewiston-Porter, we mentioned just one win on the season, but 2 contests. They lost by a total of 8 points. That was back early on in the season. Last week, 27-20 against Cheektowaga, and then a 7-6 defeat against Lakeshore back on October 3rd. So Coach Tracy said the Lancers, they were a few plays away in each game from being a 3-win team.
Well, and I think the key here is the inconsistency of the play. It's not that they don't have the talent. They do. When they're sticking to what they're good at, which is the Q run today, getting the ball out to Quartz, this is their 1-2 punch. And that's what they've got to stick with if they want to. All they got to do right now is take their time, move it down, get another touchdown, go in 6 under, and they've got a chance to come back out in the second half after they've made their adjustments and potentially win this football game.
Cole Walton rolls to his right, then throws up the deep ball on the far sideline. It is incomplete, just in and out of the hands of Corey Timke. There was a Lancer shaken up at the line of scrimmage as Timke, the senior receiver, and Walton on the run trying to extend this play.
He did everything he was supposed to do. It was a well-thrown ball. But where number 1, Julius Jackson, is coming up with those catches right now, that's got to happen with Timke on the other side of the ball. You can't drop one of those.
Second and 10 coming up for the Lancers on their 32-yard line. One man in the backfield with Walton. with 3:31 to go. And a short gain, once again. South Park indicating they have the football.
And they do.
Big play from Angel Zangaros, number 5.
He's had 47 tackles on the season, 5'7", 165 pounds, and in the right place at the right time.
So the second turnover of the night for the Lancers. This time close to the Lewiston-Porter red zone. South Park takes over.
Sorry, buddy, you're going to see max protection here. They're going to go deep on this ball again right here. Oh.
Hand off this time to Chris Schuster. Finds the open space and then brought down after a few yards by River Henson. South Park had a 12-0 lead at the end of the first quarter, and the defense causing another turnover.
Well, you usually don't see the quarterback under center. So that was just a difference of exchange between the center and the quarterback. Here we go again. Great speed into the end zone.
Chris Schuster from 26 yards out. It's another Kaleida Health touchdown, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. The Sparks of South Park now have a 3-score lead.
Well, Tim Delaney might have had some questions about his team this year, but I think he's finding going into the playoffs, they're starting to hit a stride here. And if they can use their speed like this, great handoff, but excellent job out on the corner blocking, which gives him the sideline, which gets him into the end zone. That's the fastest track, and that's what Tim and his crew have to do every single time. Really nice job.
Sacco's extra point kick is no good, but South Park out in front 24-6. And so far in this one, Scott, has been all of the different playmakers. Hurst with a touchdown, Schuster with the last touchdown, Julius Jackson with the big play, Joe Sacco starting it off in the goal line. And South Park now leads by 18. Once again, we'd like to thank our food sponsor tonight, Fat Bob's Smokehouse, located at 41 Virginia Place. Call 716-887-2971 or visit www.fatbobs.com. We enjoyed some pulled pork before tonight's game. Big thanks again to Fat Bob's Smokehouse. So under 3 minutes to play in this first half. South Park leads by 18. Here is the kick to the up man, this time for Lewiston-Porter. And getting a few yards was Brandon Tamel, who gets knocked down just past the 30. So Lewiston-Porter now down by 18. Trying to get one more score here once again before the halftime break.
You know, I think that we've seen the best of what Lewiston-Porter has to offer at least in the initial of their game plan. Coming out in the second half, I think they have to get the ball out on the edge a little bit faster, a couple screens, definitely 10 or 11 more of your QB runs, because that's been the crux, and to Quartz. So the QB run sets up the quick play action pass to Quartz in the second half. That's what I think has got to happen. Things like this, they've done a really good job getting 5 or 6 yards on those quick misdirection, but they're getting vertical and they're being physical. That's their game. They've got to come out and do more of that in the second half.
Okay. Corey Tipke on the last run as we take a look again. 2 defenders needing to take Corey down that time. Good 5-yard gain as we have reached 2 minutes to play in half number 1. Great night weather-wise here in Buffalo. The rain was a factor the past couple of days. It is a clear sky in Buffalo, New York, as the handoff to Timke trying to spin away, and he is brought down hard at the 25-yard line. A huge play from the South Park defense with under 2 minutes to go. Robert Staples and a host of defenders on the stop.
Well, you saw the tempo of that play, which was kind of the same action coming across, a little too slow in its development. You've got to hit that fast, and he had a chance to get vertical. He shouldn't have kept coming around. Had he planted his foot and got vertical, there was nobody there. But he ran into the pressure rather than planting and getting vertical. You can't keep coming across. That's one of the things we teach everybody in our team at ECC. Get vertical as soon as you can.
7-yard loss on the carry. The Lancers now 3rd and long, but before the snap, we have a timeout called by Lewiston-Porter with 1:04 left in the first half. Once again, tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So 1:04 left to play in this first half as we take a look at the huddle of the South Park Sparks, one of the oldest schools in Western New York in terms of football. The school was built in 1914. The Sparks took the football field for the first time in 1915. Sparks joined the 3 original Harvard Cup teams at the time: Lafayette, Central, which is now Hutch Tech, and the Mason Hilltoppers, which is now City Honors. So a lot of tradition out of South Park. Tim Delaney, of course, won a Harvard Cup himself back in 1996 when Jerry Obstein was at the helm. A lot of tradition at South Park.
Back in the day when just the city schools played the city schools, you know, Tim has been a really great bridge from the city schools going into Section 6, along with a lot of other coaches like Tony Trelizio of Riverside fame, things of that nature, Frank Payne, guys that I've worked with in the past. But Tim Delaney has been one of those really long-term successful guys, getting all the way to the top of the mountain and now having a team of very young people and not always having that top quarterback like he's had. But look what he makes happen. He's a top coach in Western New York, and his kids really appreciate him and love him.
Delaney now in his 17th season with South Park, 3 Section 6 titles, and helped the Sparks win a state championship in Class A back in 2015. That was the very first time that a Buffalo public school won a Section 6 title. As Scott just mentioned, Buffalo schools joined the Federation in 2010. And the Sparks able to force a punt in the last minute of the first quarter. Couple of bounces, and the Sparks will take over at the 39-yard line with 49 seconds to go before the halftime break.
If I know Tim's not going to kneel this ball down. You know, he's going to take every opportunity he can. Good job here taking a bad snap and making the best out of it.
So South Park returns with its offense. Lewiston-Porter looking for a stop. One man in the backfield. Here is the snap. Throw to the outside. It is caught. Getting his way to the outside is Hemphill, still on his feet, and then dives close to midfield.
Now, he great little catch, made some things happen. But again, I'm always of the fact that get the ball, catch the ball, get to the sideline as fast as you can. There's no point in hesitating. But he's got the athleticism to prove me wrong. Great job getting the ball out of bounds, giving South Park another opportunity to continue to control the clock. Tim Delaney's doing exactly what he said in the very beginning of the game. Limit the QB scramble, move the ball, and score early and often. And he has done that in the first half. This is the best first half that South Park has had all season long. And it's incredible that they're doing it now. You know, going into the playoffs, they say he's assured the 4th seed. They're competitive right now. They are a very competitive football team going into the playoffs.
2nd and 1 coming up out of the timeout. Lewistown defense, Mason Bonito with a team high 66 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. Bonito with the sack and also Lewistown's lone fumble recovery this season. It is 2nd and 1 at the 49. A deep ball down the near sideline. It is broken up. A heads-up play from the secondary. Hunter Harden, the junior, breaking up the pass. A huge play for Lewistown.
Like I said, there's no way Tim was going to take 33 seconds and take a knee. He's going to go after the jugular here if he can.
Hunter Harden, only a junior for Derek Tracy to work with as we take a look again. Heads up play. Colin Cosgrove coming in to help as the pass was intended for Hemphill.
Quarterback's throwing the ball really well. Now he takes it. This has been their success early in the first half, and it continues towards the end of the second quarter. Tim knows how to use his timeouts here. Great first down. Bring his guys over. We'll have the right play coming in. This is one of the best I've seen of this team this year, and they're starting to play together. That's what you hope you find early in the season, but they're finding it now, right before they go into the playoffs moving forward.
So with the run, it's another first down all the way to the Lewistown 35-yard line. Going into the second quarter, South Park had 120 yards, Lewistown with 42. But in this second quarter, the Lancers were able to get the touchdown pass. Walton to Courts from 10 yards out, cutting the deficit to 12-6, and then South Park with 12 unanswered since then. The Lancers with their touchdown at the 5:35 mark of quarter number 2. 22 seconds left, 1st and 10 at the 35. Robinson drops back, goes to the outside. It is incomplete. In and out of the hands of Hurst. 2nd down coming up.
Great pass pro there. I think everybody's, obviously they're not bringing as much pressure. They're keeping everybody, back to make sure that the ball's not getting over the head, which is obviously what you don't want to see, another score going in with only 20-something seconds remaining in the first half.
Pressure coming from the Lewistown defense as Robinson drops back. The pass is low and incomplete. Jackson, the intended receiver, on the play.
They brought 3 that time. Somebody got their hands up, tipped the ball at the line of scrimmage. Good job by the defensive end.
Down to 13 seconds to go in this first half. Robinson in the shotgun. Hurst on his right hip. He gets the call. Gets to the outside to the 30. Still on his feet. And gets close to the 20-yard line. Exactly at the 21. As we have 7 seconds to go before the break.
He'll take 2 more shots. Again, this is a really good play. They've been having success on that edge because aside from one holding penalty, South Park has been dominant on the perimeter blocking of their wide receivers.
The snap. Robinson goes for the deep ball. It is tipped and broken up. One-on-one play with 2 seconds to go. The Lewistown defense, Ryan Parker on the secondary going up. Looks like it's Jackson. As we have 2 seconds left to go. Timeout was called.
Xavier Gonzalez was wide open in the middle of the field, and I think that that might be an opportunity for them if they see that going into the second half. Nobody is covering him. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle there, being of his size. You get that young man the ball in space. He's shown he can do something with it.
2 seconds left, and once the first half concludes, we'll have Tyler Millen down on the field with the winning coach. It is 2nd and 10. South Park now with the final play of the half. Robinson in the shotgun. The snap, Robinson drops back, still on his feet, steps up in the pocket to the 20, to the 15, cuts into the 10, and brought down. The ball is loose, and it is going to be a fumble recovery by Ryan Parker, but we also have a flag. Let's wait to see what this call is. And so that will end our first half. No penalty was the official call, but Ryan Parker had the fumble recovery for the Lewiston-Porter defense. Second fumble recovery of the season for Derek Tracy in the Lancers of Lewiston-Porter, who trails South Park 24-6 at halftime. South Park Sparks able to get a lot of big scoring plays from a host of players. Joe Sacco with the big one to start, and then it went from there. South Park leads Lewiston-Porter 24-6. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey back with you up here in the broadcast booth. The Sparks with a big 24-6 lead over Lewiston-Porter. And we will send it downstairs now to Tyler Millen, who is with Sparks head coach Tim Delaney. Tyler.
Coach, you finished the half with 12 unanswered points. What impressed you about your offensive performance?
I mean, this is the most points we've scored this year, and to do it in the first half is nice. We found a little rhythm. Thought Rashawn, for a freshman, played pretty good. We were able to complete some passes. We were able to have a good mix of run and pass. Julius made a nice catch down there in the third score, and then got a senior in the end zone there right before the half.
Coach, you gave up 6 points in the first half. What are you hoping to see second half from the defense?
Just to keep being relentless. I think that we've made some plays defensively because we're so quick to the quarterback. They're doing a good job as they do with their quarterback's a good player. So we just want to keep the pressure on them so that we can continue to play fast physical football.
Coach, luck in second half. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Back to you in the booth.
Thanks again, Tyler. Our halftime score: South Park leads Lewiston-Porter 24-6. We'll step aside and come back with the UB Bulls halftime show as you are watching the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing on MyTV Buffalo.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome to halftime. South Park leads Lewiston-Porter 24-6. And now it's time for our Scholar Athlete of the Week, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin from the Athletic Associates Center. And this week from South Park High School with a 95.48 GPA, Travis Axelrod is the Scholar Athlete for South Park High School. Travis's athletic achievements include being multi-sport varsity athlete, and he is also a member of the National Honor Society and is senior class treasurer. His community involvement includes being involved with the 21st Century After School Program, cross-country swim, track, and tennis for Travis, who now is entered for a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to the Athletic Associates Scholar Athlete of the Week. Once again, it is halftime here. South Park up by 18. We'll be right back with more on MyTV Buffalo.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
It is senior day here at All High Stadium, celebrating the South Park seniors, the class of 2026. The Sparks are up by 18 at the moment. And each week during halftime of our Friday night rival and Thursday night lights broadcasts, we are showcasing outstanding game highlights from across the country. Here's some of the best from last week's games.
The best Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals highlights from across the country.
He got to quit celebrating and get back ready for a fourth down play.
Yeah, they were trying to hook and ladder, but he didn't have time. They got the board. They got the board. That's going to be, Joe, that's going to be a touchdown. Touchdown, Jalen Boyd. Inside the 10. What a touchdown. What a play. What in the world? Westwood with a touchdown on a hope and a prayer is answered.
Beachy, can he get the corner turn? He does. Here's that speed. And he's still on his feet. To the 20. Stiff arm. To the end zone. Touchdown.
Pump fake. Gross. Goes deep. And what a catch on the far side. Oh, what a catch by Oriuso. They will call it.
Heavy pressure. Throws it downfield to the middle of the field. What a catch coming up and grabbing the ball. Maddox.
55-yard field goal from the left hand. The kick is up, and it's gone at the buzzer. Bryant is the hero for the Buccaneers, and the Hoover
What a huge slate of plays that we just saw around the country. Once again, we're at halftime. South Park leads Lewiston-Porter 24-6. We'll be right back here on My TV Buffalo.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome back to the iconic All-High Stadium in Buffalo, New York. South Park with a 24-6 lead over the Lewiston-Porter Lancers. Joe Krause, Scott Pilkey, Tyler Millen with you tonight from All-High as the Sparks have an 18-point lead at the moment. As welcome back to halftime, Scott. A big-time matchup here at South Park. Really in the driver's seat to start this one.
Well, they've been consistent. 3 running touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. As Coach Delaney said at halftime, this is the most they've scored all season in the first half.
Yeah, let's take a look at the first half highlights. You could see right from the start, Rashawn Robinson able to get this 4th and 6 run at the quarterback spot for the most part tonight. Joe Sacco was the quarterback on the opening drive. As you can see, he is fired up. It is senior night for him and his teammates. But Scott, Lewiston-Porter, they had an opportunity. Walton rolling out the pass intercepted by Julius Jackson. That would set up another huge play for the South Park offense. It's another short run for Paul Hurst, able to score. South Park up 12-0 at the end of one. Lewiston-Porter able to get one back with Cole Walton rolling out and finding Jackson Courts, the deficit cut in half. But from there, Scott, it has been all South Park on both ends of the field.
Yeah, it's a great mixture of speed, power. The run game is opening up the vertical game, and Tim Delaney is back in a groove here like you have seen South Park in the past years. And this is the exact momentum they want to have going into, look at that. Look at those numbers. 253 yards to 72 total. Great job by South Park in the first half.
Hey, let's send it down to the field. Tyler Millen is with Lewiston-Porter head coach Derek Tracy. Tyler?
Coach, what was your message to your team coming out of half?
Well, offensively, we are moving the ball. The first drive of the game, we moved the ball. We just didn't walk away with points. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot there. We got to be better than that. Defensively, we got to make sure we have 11 hands to the ball every single time. These guys are too good. We got to break down. We can't over pursue. We can't try to arm tackle. We just got to break down and get 11 hands to the ball.
Coach, luck in the second half. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Back to you in the booth.
Thanks, Tyler. We're going to step aside for one more short break. You are watching the Law Office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights presented by Stellar Roofing. And welcome back to All High Stadium in Buffalo, New York. South Park leads Lewiston-Porter 24-6. We're so glad that you're joining us. It's the final week of the regular season in Section 6 football. I'm Joe Krause, along once again with the coach Scott Pilkey. And Scott, going into half number 2, if you're Derek Tracy, if you're Tim Delaney, how do you address the start of this second half?
Well, I think you heard it both from the coaches at the end of the half and then coming back out in the second. It's always about teaching, getting better with the fundamentals, and making sure that you correct the mistakes you had. But with Tim Delaney, you want to continue now this role that you have and take it into the playoffs with you.
South Park getting close to that number 4 spot in the postseason in Class B. Lewiston-Porter looking to keep this going. They had the touchdown in the second quarter, as we showed in our highlight package. And now here come the Lancers, receiving the football to start this second half of play, and they'll set up shop right at the 30-yard line. Getting a chance to talk with Derek Tracy earlier this week about Cole Walton and his progression as a quarterback, and he said that Cole is one of the toughest dudes I've ever coached. He said that over the summer they were short at quarterback going in, and Cole came into his office and asked, "Do you want me to play quarterback today?" And Coach Tracy said, "Yeah, that'd be great." And since that point, over the summer, Cole Walton has taken the quarterback spot at the reins. Part of that senior campaign, a senior leader for the Lewiston-Porter Lancers, as he is in the shotgun. It's a delayed handoff up the middle, and the Lancers able to get close to the 35. Will give credit on the carry to one of the big players, Jackson Courts.
Well, you're seeing them go back to what Coach said, that first drive. This is going to emulate that first drive. They're not going to have as many slow moving across. Everything's going to be vertical, because that's the only way you're going to punch an aggressive defense in the mouth, is to hit them quicker at the point of the attack before they can get to their intended quarterback with the blitz and everything else that they've been doing.
Courts on Walton's right hip. Here's the snap. Walton trying to evade the pressure. He cannot this time. It is a sack, with a South Park defense leading the charge. The senior Robert Staples has the football right in his hands.
And Sacco was in on the Sacco. Pretty nice job. Good pressure here. 2 guys on Sacco. Keeps pushing the pocket. Pretty good job by all those young men.
Loss of 6 on the sack. As you can see, the big comparison on third down percentage tonight. South Park doing pretty well. Lewiston-Porter has not been able to convert a third down play tonight. Now looking at 3rd and 11 on its 30. Walton in the shotgun. He looks downfield, rolls to his right, and he is brought down once again. Back-to-back sacks for Robert Staples on the defensive line.
Well, you see what Tim Delaney's going to do. You know, he talked about being aggressive, and now he knows that he's got the great lead. He knows that they're going to have to go into the pass. So this is not something that is going to bode well for Lewiston-Porter if they cannot hold up pressure. And clearly, in that first series, they were not ready for the adjustment. And the adjustment was he gave them a 4 front rather than that 3 front, and that has screwed up the entire pass pro of Lewiston-Porter in that first series.
Walton rolls out on 4th and long. It is caught. The Lancers get past the 40-yard line. Great connection. Once again, Walton to Jackson Courts, and it's enough for an Interstate Batteries first down. Outrageously dependable. And Jackson Courts has been just that dependable for the Lewiston-Porter offense.
And that's a nice coaching job by Coach Tracy. Not giving up on your guys, giving them a chance to compete. And you could have easily punted that ball and allowed South Park to continue their momentum. But that's a great, great job getting that first down.
Gain of 22 on the pass play. Good for a fresh set of downs. Ball spotted now at the Lewiston-Porter 43. Walton rolls to his right. Tries to evade the pressure. It is incomplete. Second down coming up. Going back to Robert Staples quickly here, Scott. Those were his first 2 sacks of the season. And South Park now with 18.5 on the year.
Yeah, they've been really steady all season long. Coach is getting exactly what he needs out of his defense right now. Keep them in these second longs. You know they have to do is pass the ball. They're going to keep bringing pressure.
2nd and 10 coming up for Lew-Port after the incomplete pass. Walton, delayed handoff. Lancers go right up the middle, close to midfield. It was about a 6-yard gain that time coming from Courts. And now it'll set up 4th and manageable. Check that. Still 3rd down. 3rd and 5 coming up with 8.5 to go.
And this is 4-down territory for them the rest of the game.
Gabe Cassell right on your screen at center for the Lancers. Pitch to the left. Lancers still on their feet. Courts fighting his way past midfield. And then he is brought down. A good run for Courts as South Park sent one man initially. Courts went by him. A good run for the senior.
Well, you're seeing the pressure come, and if you get underneath the pressure, then there's nobody at the second level. And that's what they've been doing well most of the night, but they've got to do that consistently.
Jackson Courts making his way to the sideline and checking his shoulder. Might have gotten it dinged up on the last carry. It's now 4th and 1 for Lew-Port at the South Park 48. Just over 7 minutes to go in the 3rd. Lancers in the power I. Walton on the QB keeper goes along the right side. It appears he will have enough here for Lew-Port. The Lancers looking to keep this drive rolling, and it is enough for a first down, brought to you by Interstate Batteries.
And that's some good work right there. You know, the fake punt, they've been running the ball, getting vertical again. You're not going to take Tim Delaney out of his heavy blitz package, so the only thing to do is to hit the quick hitter so they run right by you.
Fresh set of downs for the Lancers. Good drive so far to start our second half. 1st and 10 from the South Park 46. Walton rolls out to his right, drops back, fires off his back foot. The pass is low and incomplete. Looking for his tight end, Cam Ryan, another senior, on the pass play.
See, that's the kind of play that you need. With the blitz coming like that, a little play action, the middle is open, but now you've got to be able to throw the ball. Don't lob it in there. Put it right on the young man so he can make a difference. It's a little too touchy there. Throw the football, let him run to the ball, and that would have been a nice gain for him.
Empty backfield this time for the Lew-Port offense. Cole Walton in the shotgun. Walton steps up, gets a couple of yards close to the 45, and then the whistles are blown. A host of sparks on the defensive play, including the freshman Malik Felder, number 55, able to stymie Cole Walton that time.
You know, it's a really great drive. I mean, they're driving down here, taking up a lot of clock. They've got to make – I don't care if they only score, you know, here with 2 or 3 minutes left to go. But if they can convert another first down and they can get back into a 2-score game, have a couple key stops, that fourth quarter could be magic for them. So this is still anybody's football game if they can come downfield here and score here in the early of the third quarter.
3rd and 10 at the South Park 46. Lancers still on their opening drive. Walton on the QB keeper. He takes a few yards, gets past the 40. Going to be close. Another 4th and short. Coming up, the clock continues to tick. We're down to 5:32 as we have an injured player. But let's take a look again. The Lancers starting to cook in the ground game.
See, he's a big fella. Great run.
So we have an injury timeout. South Park player is down. We'll step aside as well. More from Buffalo, New York after this short break. Looks at Polhurst was okay. And coming up, stay tuned for the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. So we had an injury timeout. Polhurst able to make his way to the sideline. You see Lewiston-Porter breaking out of the huddle. Derek Tracy and his Lancer men now facing 4th and 3 at the South Park 44-yard line. The game clock is rolling, and so are we tonight. The law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights presented by Stellar Roofing. Our regular season finale. Here it is week 8 in Section 6 football. Walton to the outside. It is caught on the far sideline. A huge heads-up play from the tight end, Cam Ryan. Walton going right back to his senior tight end. It's another Interstate Batteries first down.
See, this is a really nice drive. Again, the prelude is the quarterback run, and that opens everything else up. And, you know, this has been a really good series for the Lancers, something they can build on next year, you know, going forward. But they're not out of this game yet. Like I said, if they can control this, score here, get an extra point, even get 2, you know, then you're chipping away at it.
We're down to 4.5 minutes left in quarter number 3. Again, this is the only drive that we have seen out of the halftime break. Cole Walton in the shotgun. 4 receivers on his left. Walton takes a snap, looks to his right, tries to scramble to the outside, and he is brought down hard. It is the 3rd sack on this drive, and the first one looked like it was by Zangaros. It was, and now it is 2nd down coming up.
I think this would have been one of those great plays where you only see 4 or 5 guys in the box. This would have been one of those tremendous opportunities for a little drop back, a little Q draw. They definitely have that when they have the quads off to the left, but you keep getting your quarterback hit when they could have, you know what, get him hit when he's 6 or 7 yards downfield, not 5 or 6 yards in the backfield.
7-yard loss, pitting the Lancers back at the Sparks 39-yard line. Empty backfield. Walton takes a snap. He rolls to his right. Couple steps back, then fires a fastball over the middle, and it is caught. A huge catch once again from Jackson Courts, able to get a good chunk back.
Well, like we talked about, they haven't been able to convert, you know, a 3rd down. But on this series, I believe they've done it twice, correct? So this is a huge play for them. It's 3rd and manageable. You're in 4-down territory here. You know, you don't necessarily need to throw the football. Now you have 4 in the box, run the quarterback. You have an empty backfield, run the quarterback.
Lewiston-Porter 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive as Walton rolls out, and the pass just incomplete off of the hands of Timke. And now 4th and 5 comes up at the South Park 27-yard line.
See, being aware of the number of people in the box, no one has stopped him for less than 5 or 6 yards a carry. And it's as good as a pass. It's as good as a completion. Granted, he had a really nice opening, good pass pro. threw it. That ball shouldn't have been dropped, but there is that opening to run whenever you're in this spread offense like you are right now.
Lewistown keeping its offense on the field, 4th and 5 at the South Park 27-yard line. 2:41 to go in the third. Walton throws to the near side. It is broken up. Incomplete pass as Pearson was on the coverage. It's going to be a turnover on downs with 2:36 left in the third quarter. And we will step aside once again. Lewistown was moving the ball. Pearson breaks it up. We're back from Buffalo after this short break. And welcome back. Once again, a big thank you to our food sponsor tonight, Fat Bob Smokehouse, located at 41 Virginia Place. Call 716-887-2971 or visit www.fatbobs.com. We had some great pulled pork before the game tonight. Scott Pilkey, and big thanks again to Fat Bob's.
Well, that's appropriate that they should have that advertisement over that offensive line, because there are some guys on that offensive line I guarantee you have been to Fat Bob's and have enjoyed. The brisket was awesome.
South Park takes over after Nasir Spearson was able to break up the pass on 4th down, and South Park with Joe Sacco back at quarterback goes to the ground game. Minimal game, if none at all. Just over 2 minutes left.
Going back to their very first couple plays of the series with Sacco, is you haven't heard his name a lot tonight in tackles or anything else, but his influence has definitely been on the field. Big run when he's pulled on the power, and he's been a force on defense. You've had to double team him, allowing the rest of the blitz to come free, and he has had some great influence this evening.
You would see on your screen Sacco right next to Gonzalez. Sacco goes down the far sideline with a deep ball. It is incomplete. 3rd down coming up. Jackson, the intended receiver. He had a big 35-yard touchdown score to put South Park up 18-6 late in the second quarter.
I think Rashawn Robinson has really done a nice job tonight. Putting the ball, his arm he's a young guy, still got a lot of development to do, but when they've asked him to throw the ball downfield, he's put the ball in, where his wide receivers could go up for it.
And this is just incomplete. Sacco looking for Hemphill. Tight coverage from the Lewistown defense. Heads up play in the defense as we'll take a look again as Joe Sacco throwing a nice deep ball and right to Hemphill. Pass was broken up again by Hunter Harden, but what a throw from Joe.
Well, you see, number 13 might not be big in stature, but no one's covering him. They're throwing over his head. If they let him in some little crossing route, you're going to see him in space. He's a dangerous little guy, man. Good athlete.
Line drive punt from the Sparks. Taking a couple bounces past midfield. And the Lewistown offense will have another good start. Second drive of this quarter. It'll be at the 48-yard line of Lewistown with 1:21 to go. Once again, tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So Lewistown, after having its offense, its big offensive drive, and turnover on downs at the 2:41 mark. The defense able to force South Park to punt. And now the Lancers are back on the field. 1st and 10 on its own 48-yard line with 1:21 left to go in the third quarter. Walton back in the shotgun. Pitch to the outside. It is to Courts. He makes his way past midfield and brought down hard at the South Park 49-yard line. Hurst leading the charge for the South Park defense.
Well, that's the first time he's gotten the pitch out. There was one other time that they used that diamond formation, and he pulled it on the first major run because the pressure was upfield. He saw that the pitch relationship wasn't there. He pulled it. I believe that was his first 24-yard run as the quarterback in the first quarter. Obviously, that time he read it nicely. Good 3-yard gain.
Walton in the shotgun, one man on his right hip. Direct snap, QB keeper this time for Walton, making his way past the 40. It's a good run for Walton, keeping the chains moving. It's another Interstate Batteries first down. 25 seconds left to go in the third.
That play is there every single time. And if he takes that snap, takes that little draw, pulls everybody in, he might even have a play action off of his own action to his tight ends down the field. You've got a couple things built in there right now. But here they've not stopped him. I would say on that run, he's probably averaged 6-7 yards a carry, right?
Yes, and that time he got enough for 10. 1st and 10 for Lewiston-Porter in the South Park 39 when we come back for the start of the fourth quarter. It's the law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights right here on My TV Buffalo. Start of the fourth quarter, take a look at the nice and shiny trophy presented and designed by Southtown's Trophy. After tonight's contest, Tyler Millen will present the trophy to the winning team. Pretty awesome trophy, great stuff from Southtown's Trophy. As it was a 10-yard pass play to start the fourth. 1st and 10 at the South Park 29. Walton fires through the traffic and incomplete.
Now remember, before the break, I was saying that Q run, he pulled it, stepped up like it was going to be a run, stepped back and threw it. That's the play action pass that's involved when you have a great Q run. Now, 2nd and 10, let's start it off again. You're down here, you're moving the ball really, really well in the third quarter. Now you're in 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Let's at least get some kind of score down here. You've been working really hard in the second half. Nice adjustment by the coaches at halftime.
Walton back in the shotgun. He drops back, rolls to his left, throws on the run, but it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage by the South Park defense. Third down coming up, and we'll give credit to Jay-Sean Jones, the junior defensive end. So South Park able to get another pass deflection. That was also one of the key traits of the defense coming into tonight. But Lewiston knocking on the door just outside the red zone, 3rd and 10 at the South Park 29.
Well, what you gotta, if you're going to be playing South Park in the next couple of weeks, you have to run directly at them. Anything laterally, they have too much speed to break down, which is, consistent with this play that they did right now. Anything right at them up the A gap, you'll have a tendency to over pursue it. And that's something Coach Delaney has to work on, the next week too, is when to break down. You don't want to take away their aggressiveness, but you also have to be able to identify, like right now, when it's time. Great job, but you gotta get them. You gotta hit them quick, man. You can't be. They're too fast, man. They're coming from all angles here. Great job by that defense collectively tonight.
2-yard loss on the last carry for Timke. Lewiston now faces 4th and 12 on the South Park 31-yard line. Approaching the 9 o'clock hour on the East Coast. Early stages of the fourth quarter. Cole Walton in the shotgun once again. Mason Bonito the motion man. Walton rolls to his right. It ball is loose from behind. It's scooped up by South Park. It is a fumble recovery. Heads up play from the big player and only a sophomore, Jalen Brown.
Prior to this game, they forced 8 fumbles, and I think tonight that's their second or third of the night. Tremendous pursuit from the backside. Great job by this defense tonight.
Jay-Sean Jones forced it. Jalen Brown had the fumble recovery. And the Sparks offense takes over with under 10 minutes to go in this ball game. 1st and 10 on their own 40.
Think about how key that first quarter interception down the 1-yard line was. That really, I know we're setting up for some, the stop of the day, but wow, just since then the momentum just completely changed going in the Sparks direction.
South Park going to the ground game as Lewiston gets a stop from its leading tackler, Mason Bonito. Right now on your screen, one of many 3-year players for head coach Derek Tracy. Originally the quarterback, then transitioned due to injuries, transitioned to wide receiver, has been the top tackler as well this year. As South Park goes back to their ground game with Chris Schuster, and he is brought down from behind at the Lewiston 45-yard line. The big heads-up play that time from the defender. Looks like it was Tamil on the stop. It's another first down brought to you by Express Windows. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks.
Well, now what you're seeing is an up tempo. And everybody might be saying, well, they're up 24-6, but this is Coach Delaney at his best. Practicing for, right now you might be winning the game, but you've got to have everything ready to go. So they're going to hit the same run game, hit it the same twice in a row. Really good job by the O-line. Everybody's lining up, no penalties. Shows that this team is gaining some, and they've gotten better throughout the game. Have you noticed that? They're getting faster. The O-line is staying on their blocks longer. They're starting to believe in themselves. This is the game they needed to summarize, the only scoring 12 touchdowns throughout the entire season. Done a great job tonight, showing a lot of potency.
2nd and 7 to the Lewiston 41-yard line. It is Robinson in the shotgun. 2 men in the backfield with him. It's a handoff to Hurst, and he is balled up and brought down quickly by Cole Walton. And Gabe Castell in on the charge as well. 3rd down coming up.
Walton's had a very physical game. He's probably had 3 or 4 tackles that have been, for loss tonight. The way that young man is standing there right now. Tomorrow, I'm taking I'm taking Walton to go see a chiropractor, man. He's been a bust tonight. Very physical as a runner, very good linebacker and defensive player. Love the effort in that young man tonight.
Approaching the 7-minute mark at All High Stadium. 3rd and 10 for South Park at the Lewiston-Porter 44. Jackson motions to his right. He gets the pitch. Tries to cut to the outside, looking for the corner. And he is brought down by the Lewiston-Porter defense. Jackson Courts got him by the knees. And now it's 4th down coming up.
Nice stand. Little late in the game, but one thing you could say about this Lewiston-Porter team is that they are very tough, very resilient, and they compete to the very last whistle. And I think that's what you're seeing here. And while it's not the outcome nor the season that Coach Tracy wanted, you can still see that these kids respect their coach, and they're playing hard for one another still. Yeah, we've had some big plays here tonight, as they come back out on play. We got a couple things, a couple tough decisions to make, don't we, tonight, But I know which one I want. I thought the momentum changer, it might have been the biggest stop of the day, but it was also what started the sparks. It was that spark for their offense that led them to this point tonight.
South Park on the punt, and this will set up Lewiston-Porter at the 25-yard line with 6:57 to go. Let's step aside for another short break, and when we come back, we'll tell you about some glory days of Lewiston-Porter football. You're watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights on My TV Buffalo. And tonight's closed captioning provided by Buffalo Fresh Roof. 6:57 left in the 4th quarter. Lewiston-Porter with the football, trailing 24-6 against South Park. And last season was a pretty big milestone, a big night for Lewiston-Porter football, as it was the 50th anniversary of Lewiston-Porter's 1974 team that went 8-0 under head coach Peter Rowell, who then continued on to spend some time in the 1980s and 90s with UB football. As here is the snap for Walton to the outside. It is a short gain and caught. But 1974, the Lancers, they won the Section 6 Niagara Frontier League Division III title. Had 7 players selected to the first team offense and defensive teams. And it was also the 3rd time in a 5-year span that Lewiston-Porter football went unbeaten. And they outscored opponents. Get this, Scott, 267-7. Lewiston-Porter was ranked 9th in the state. And running back Tom Blinko went on to play for Ohio State in the Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, and Rose Bowl. He was only a sophomore at that time, but he was the team's leading rusher. And they had to use 2 quarterbacks in that season. And Lewiston-Porter, again, a big year, 8-0. There was 8-0 back in 1974. The school had a big celebration last year in their contest against Kenmore East. They had a plaque that honored the team that is now displayed proudly in the school's hallways. Pete Rowell in that group in the late 1960s into the 70s. He stepped down after the 1977 season, He had a 55-8-3 record and 6 league championships with Lewiston-Porter before retiring from coaching the Lancers in 1977. But that 1974 team, Gary Bowser was a big part of that group as well. He organized the reunion last year. It was a great time out at Lewiston-Porter High School. Just when you talk about the legacy and having those, you've been around those situations as well, of honoring those teams of the past. That's pretty cool.
Well, you know, it's a little selfish of me, but my mother was a coach, great gymnastics coach in her day, and she was actually the gymnastics coach at Lewiston-Porter, where she was a teacher for 15 years. So I don't know if my mom's watching tonight, but kick out to the old mom there, and my wife tonight. You know, hey babe, love you.
2nd and 3 for Lewiston-Porter at the 42. Walton rolls to his right. It is incomplete as Timke, as he was falling down, just couldn't make the snag. And now it's 3rd and 3 at the 42.
Well, what you got to like is you know, coaches keep coaching, players keep playing, and everybody keeps learning. And that's what you see here tonight. You know, again, the ball's on key. That's just kind of been the theme of the night for them. You know, a couple big drops when they could have had, you know, first down maybe early in the third quarter. You know, that's just been the tail of the tape tonight. And by far, you know, the best growth you've seen is by Tim Delaney's team going into the playoff look here.
Manageable 3rd and 3 at the 42. Walton rolls to his right, throws a deep bomb downfield. It is incomplete over the head of Mason Bonito. 4th and 3 comes up with 4:40 to play.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see what they do here. I mean, obviously you go for it, but do you also want to give South Park a short field? So I think you got to keep competing, which it looks like they're going to do.
Fourth and 3 for the Lancers. Lewiston-Porter breaks the huddle. Walton in the shotgun once again. Here's the snap. It's a handoff going to the ground game with Jackson Courts. The ball is loose, but then Courts is able to recover. It's enough for a first down. This time brought to you by Express Windows. Jackson Courts with another huge run, this time into foreign territory and all the way to the South Park 47.
You know, I think it's something you got to give the offensive line up front, especially in the middle there. When they've run this type of play, we watched this type of run last week when we were Lackawanna, you know, where they ran the ball up the middle every single time. This is something that other teams are going to look at, because if you do attack the Sparks directly at the A-gap, you run right into – what a nice play there.
And this
great adjustment.
Down the sideline, Ryan Parker spinning his way past the 30. Another first down brought to you by Express Windows. Walton to Parker, senior to senior, and the chains keep moving.
Yeah, just great competition. No matter what the outcome of the game is, keep competing. This is a great lesson you're learning. He rolls out. He's been taking hits all night long. Still fights, makes something happen. Great job. Great last effort there. Playing to the echo of the whistle, as they say.
Timeout has been called on the field with 3:49 left in the fourth quarter, and we will step aside as well. Lewiston-Porter on the move, and you're watching Thursday Night Lights right here on MyTV Buffalo. Hey, welcome back. It's now time to take a look at the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. Always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Not stopping or trying to beat the stop arm puts lives at risk. It can result in large fines, points on your license, and license suspension.
This is the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
And this
rolls out here, throws it out. Now that was a momentum changer right there. That is the stop of the game.
Once again, that's our stop of the game brought to you by Julius Jackson of South Park.
This is the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
1st and 10 for Lewiston-Porter at the South Park 27-yard line. Empty backfield as Walton drops back the pass. He fires to the outside. It is incomplete through the hands. Looks like to Courts on the outside. 2nd and 10 coming up. A reminder coming up after the conclusion of this game. Tyler Millen presents the trophy to the winning team and gets some thoughts from the winning head coach. Walton takes the snap, rolls out to his right, a low pass. It is caught. Making his way upfield is Bonito, spinning his way to the outside. Bonito still on his feet, and then finally brought down at the 26-yard line, maybe a 1-yard gain. After the big effort, South Park brings them down.
We've seen a lot of that tonight. You know, a lot of guys change the direction. Some guys are better at it than others. I think tonight, you know, the guys with the best feet were definitely on the side of the South Park Sparks. But you can tell Benito is a very athletic young man.
Loss of 1, 3rd and long coming up. Walton again in the shotgun. Walton rolls to his left, spins to his right, and he is brought down. That's another sack for the South Park defense. This time leading the charge, the South Park defender, James Schuster. So you can see again, Walton just trying to evade the pressure. Robert Staples in there on the stop as well, number 6.
That's the 5th sack of the evening. You know, that puts, we were talking about 16.5 sacks before they came in here. Tonight, that's their 5th sack. They brought quarterback pressure probably another 10 to 15 times this evening. They did not make it easy for the passing game of Lewiston-Porter. But you know what? You got to really hand it to Coach Delaney. Even though they're 3-4 coming in, that team came in. They were big-eyed today. They had a good game plan. And I think a lot of the guys that have been standing in and trying to figure out who's the quarterback, who's the running back, they realize they've got a lot of athletes tonight. And when they all start working together, this is the type of game they should have been producing all year. But they might have a shot to really duplicate this, in their next game. So hats off to Tim Delaney and his staff for getting his guys to not just compete tonight, but complete tonight.
4th
Great job.
21 for the 37. Walton, the deep ball. It is incomplete. Turnover on downs. Ryan Parker, the intended receiver. Jacob Burris, number 18, in on the coverage for South Park. The Sparks force another turnover on downs for Lewiston-Porter. Another strong drive into foreign territory, but it unfortunately ends. Good deep ball from Walton once again. Parker going up against 2 defenders. And now with 2:37 left in the contest, Scott, South Park returns to the field with the offense.
Well, I think what you'll see here is, Coach Delaney has pretty much gotten everything he needed to see out of his team. You'll see him run the ball a little bit, maybe work a little tempo and just running them up. But I think Coach Delaney sees where he has to go going forward, and that's getting his athletes the football early and often And he's done exactly what he needed to do today, which was outscore his opponent, which he hasn't been able to do too often this year. So hats off to Tim Delaney. Well-coached team tonight.
It was number 8, Felix Espada, on the last carry, as South Park has gone with some reserves into the contest. Espada in the backfield, and now at quarterback is Tyrone Green, number 16, in a sophomore. As South Park goes to the ground game, a spin move from Kamar Williams, and he is stopped just past the 40-yard line. Green made one pass attempt earlier this season, but was not able to convert. And Kamar Williams, just his third carry of the season right there, setting up now a 3rd and 5 play as we're approaching the final minute on what has been a great night here in Buffalo, New York, the historic All-High Stadium. Also the home this past spring of the Section 6 Boys Lacrosse Championships. Great venue. The turf field was installed 3 years ago, and just an iconic venue. As Green on the QB keeper goes to the outside here on 3rd down. And then he is stopped, and a turnover. And Lewiston-Porter is able to make a big play, it appears.
Last couple opportunities. Finished the game out strong. And South Park gets to move forward.
Take a look at this play again. The ball came out. Hunter Harden was able to recover it on the far side. It was a low snap. And then the hit, a team up, Bonino and Zach Andres, number 32. So the turnovers, as we see here tonight, the Lancers with 3, the Sparks with 2. Lewiston-Porter offense back out on the field. Last 34 seconds of play. Walton takes the snap, throws over the middle, tipped by a Spark and incomplete. Colin Cosgrove, the intended receiver on the play, number 7. 29 seconds left to go in this contest.
You know, when you really ask, Tim in the very beginning of the game when we were down the field with Coach Delaney, you could tell that he was, cautiously optimistic about this game. But he's got to feel really good about the way his kids came out here and just did the job against it. Maybe a team that didn't, maybe isn't prepared to be on the field with them as when they're playing at their best. But that's what he did tonight. He got his team playing at their best tonight. I love to see that this late in the season.
Walton on the QB keeper on 2nd down. Gets to the 31-yard line. Another good scramble for the senior. Mentioned at the top, Cole Walton, our player to watch. Nearly 1,200 yards passing coming into tonight. And close to 125 in the ground game. Doing a little bit of everything, as this will be the final play. And Walton is hit in the backfield. And it was Xavier Gonzalez on the stop. And South Park comes away with a 24-6 victory over Lewiston-Porter. South Park improves to 4-4 in the regular season, 4-3 in Class B1. Lewiston-Porter now 1-7 overall and 0-7 in B1 action. We're going to step aside for another short break and come back with our post game. You're watching the law office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And welcome back to the law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights presented by Stellar Roofing. Our regular season finale, South Park with a 24-6 win over the Lewiston-Porter Lancers. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey. And Scott, just your thoughts overall on this big win tonight for South Park.
This was a huge leap, exactly what South Park needed going forward into the playoffs. Congratulations to Coach Delaney and his team.
And now let's send it down to the field. Tyler Millen is with South Park's head coach Tim Delaney. Tyler?
Coach, you get a big win going into playoffs next week. How much momentum does this win give you guys going into next week?
I think overall it's just a little bit of a confidence booster. We played well on offense in the first half and, played well defensively all game. So it's excited for our guys to, especially on a senior night, for us to win the last regular season game, last home game, and hopefully carry some momentum into the playoffs.
Coach, congratulations on the win. This is for y'all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tyler, in the crowd with the South Park Sparks celebrating a victory on senior night. And they'll now look ahead to the postseason, 24-6, the final over the Lewiston-Porter Lancers. South Park now back to 500, 4-4 on the season. So once again, our final score, South Park with a 24-6 victory over Lewiston-Porter. And we would like to let you know that we will be back here next week on Halloween, a Section 6 Spooktacular next Friday, October 31st, the opening round of the Section 6 postseason. We will keep you informed where we will be broadcasting from, but the Section 6 postseason, the opening round right here on MyTV Buffalo next Friday, October 31st. For my partner, Scott Pilkey, Tyler Millen on the sideline, everyone working behind the scenes. This is Joe Kraus signing off from Buffalo, New York, the iconic All-High Stadium. South Park, your winners tonight, as you've been watching the law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing.
Would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, William Matar, Stellar Roofing, Aesthetic Associates Center, and the University of Buffalo, who through their contributions to the program make these games possible for you viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our 2025 Thursday Night Lights telecasts. And we especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support.